Hello everyone, welcome to my channel CS Code Academy. Today we are going to study about software myths. Before that, I'll tell you to imagine something like you are building a software project and 3 points here I have written. Okay, customer says first you start coding, later I will give the requirements. Customer or stakeholder, and manager or management team will say if our project is lagging, then we'll add some more programmers to the project. And next the developers says once your software is start running, then our work is done. Are these three statements, are they correct? No, right? At some point, they sound like logically correct, but they are not the fact. Okay, so myths are nothing but what widely believed ideas that are actually false. Like a student studying for longer hours doesn't guarantee that he will score more marks, right? Studying effectively will get you more marks rather than studying longer hours. So studying longer hours score more marks, that particular student will score more marks is a myth. So actually what the fact is, what he has to study effectively so that he'll get more marks. So here with respect to software, these myths are what false beliefs are misconceptions about the software development process, which eventually lead to failure of the project. Here, what are these software myths? How they affect the software delivery? Next, the categories of myths we will study in detail in this video. To start with the three categories, first we will cover customer myths. Customer myths, these are nothing but misconceptions or false beliefs that a customer or a stakeholder will have regarding the project. First myth is general statement of objective or goal is sufficient to begin the programming. So this is a myth what customer will have. So reality is what, not a general statement or not a general goal or objective is required. The detailed description including requirements, what he wants to do, what problem he wants to solve by giving this project, everything should be clearly defined before starting the programming. It goes through series of activities like requirement analysis, planning, design, then coding will come into picture. So before that, requirements should be gathered. Next, proper planning by taking consideration of time and money, everything should be planned properly. Accordingly, design or model should be developed. Later only they have to start, the development team has to start coding. So this is actually myth. And the second myth what customer will have is, as the software is flexible, requirement changes can be easily accommodated. Of course, software is flexible, but when you give the change in the requirement, it matters. Why? Time, effort, cost, everything is involved in developing the software. But if you bring the changes early during the development phase, those changes can be accommodated without disturbing the overall plan. But if you bring the changes, if the customer or the stakeholder bring the changes at the later stages of the project, it requires replanning, redesigning and re-implementation. Everything has to be done, which have adverse effect on cost, time and effort. Everything will go high. So that is a myth. So reality is what, it should be brought at the early stages to minimize the cost. If you bring the requirements changes or any technology change or any idea change, if you bring at the later stage or at the end of the implementation, then it will result in very costly software. While coming to management myth, what management will have misconception about the software development process, we'll see. There are two myths related to management. First myth, it says like this: if we buy latest software tools, the project will automatically succeed. Of course, tools will help, but they cannot replace the good planners, good designers, good programmers, Okay, and they can add up the speed, they can add the speed, but alone tools can't contribute for success of any project. You need skilled developers, you need skilled programmers, and you need skilled designers. So collectively, along with those skilled people or skilled team, the tools will get added advantage to the existing team. So that is the reality. And of course, only tools will not help. If you have only tools and lag in development team, testing team, and planning team, and design team, of course these tools nobody knows how to use, so eventually your project will fail. So second myth is, if the project is behind schedule, adding more programmers will catch up the delay. Of course, it sounds logical, but if you go in deep, like if the project is behind schedule, if you add new programmers or new development people into the project, so you need to give extra time to the new team members just to understand what the existing project is doing now currently, on which technology they are working on, the which programming language they are using. So all those things need time, so it delays the process. Rather than speeding up the process, rather it will delay the process of project again. The third category, that is practitioner myths. These are the myths that a developer will have. There are four myths here listed. In that first one, once the program runs successfully, my work is done. This is a myth what developer will have. Once they develop the project, once the code runs, the developer, some developers, they think that their work is done. Actually, that is not true. Later, after developing the project or after writing the code, they have to fix the bugs, and they have to give maintenance report, documentation, and any updates are there means that they have to check, and they have to do the testing. So all these works are there that developer need to do after delivering the successful project or after delivering the software. Okay, so that is a myth. Reality is, so many works have to be done by the developer after making the program runnable or software runnable. So that is testing, documentation, maintenance, bug fixing, and the updates. So these works also will be there after delivering the project. So the second myth is, until the program runs, there is no way to access its quality. So that is a myth. After there has to be so many ways in order to access the quality of the software, in terms of getting the reviews, inspections, and testing. Unit wise they can do testing, and they can integrate two or more components, and they can do the testing. By that they can evaluate the matrix of quality. Okay, so there are several ways. It is not like program, after completing the program, after everything is done, after developing the project, then only the quality can be accessed. No, that is not correct. So quality can be accessed at each and every time when they need, when the management or the customer need to know the quality has to be evaluated, they need to do that is done by unit testing, integration testing, white box, black box. So the quality matrix can be analyzed. So the third myth is, the only deliverable is working program. It says that is a myth. So only project or the code, source code file, if you hand over to the customer or the stakeholder, what they will do with that? You need, as a developer, you need to give all documentation related work, all dependency files, and how to access it, and design diagrams, test cases, and user manuals, and maintenance. Everything need to be delivered along with working project or working software. So that is the reality. And documentation is unnecessary, it slows the development. Some developers, they feel like maintaining documentation for whatever they are doing is what unnecessary, and it is taking their time in which they'll tell that preparing documentation itself is slowing down their development work. That is actually myth. So why they have to maintain documentation? It will be easy for the employees who will join newly. Documentation is an essential part in software engineering. It helps team members to understand the project. It will helps in testing and debugging, and it will help the new joinees who will join to that project. Again, it makes the maintenance of that project easier, and updates and modifications can be done easier. So documentation plays a very important role in project. To summarize the categories of myths, software myths: customer myth, management myth, and the developer or practitioner myth. The first two myths of customer is first, general objective or general goal. That statement is enough, they can the developers can start writing the code. So that is a myth. Reality, all the detailed description about what he wants to develop, stakeholder or the customer, have to be specified prior doing the implementation part. And the changes are easy. That is a myth that the stakeholder or a customer will have. Software is flexible. It doesn't mean that changes can be incorporated at any point of time of development, software development. So at the beginning, if the changes are given, can be easily accommodated. Later the changes, it will cost more to the stakeholder or the customer in requirement analysis, in doing replanning, redesigning, and re-implementation and retesting. So cost will be more, efforts will be more by the development team. And the second category is the management myths. What management will have misconception about the software development? New tools. If you are adding new tools to the project, it will definitely lead for success of the project. That is a myth. Along with the tools, you should have proper skilled team of development and planning team and designing team. So along with them, if tools are added, they'll give the added advantage to the project success. Second myth is, if you add more programs to the lagging project, it will lead to the success. No, it will take more time in order to cope up with what the current project is going through. So you have to give more time to the new employees regarding giving ideas, everything what is going on currently. So it will take more time, and eventually it will not speed up of the project. Okay, so third one is practitioner or the developer myth. What they have misconception about the software development. So job ends after coding. Of course, job ends, but after that, after giving the successful running source code, along with that, the development team should also give all files related to that project, the documentation, maintenance, update and testing, use cases, and everything related to that project. All files they have to work on. So working code quality, they says like quality can be measured only after running the project, only after successful completion of the project. So that is a myth. Quality can be done at any point of time by taking the reviews, by doing the testing. Okay, so all those things can be done while running the project, currently running the project, and any modifications required can be easily accounted. So running program is only deliverable. As I said before, they won't be doing only source coding. Okay, along with that, documentation and use case study, manuals and maintenance, and how the software can be used, how the test cases are written, everything they need to deliver to the customer. And next, documentation is unnecessary. Development team feels like the documentation is unnecessary, but that is more important. That's where testing, debugging, and bug fixing and maintenance updates and information about the project to the new employees can be given with the help of this documentation. To conclude, you should remember about software myths. Like, a software project fails not only because of technical problems, because the myths or the belief, false belief, what these category of peoples will have. So because of that also, software will fail. Thank you for watching my channel CS Code Academy. Please do like, subscribe to my channel and refer to your friends.